Hi, folks. Jeff and the been driving around this evening in the car. It's kind of cold outside. Decided to stop by McDonald's and get a cup of coffee and kind of do these little video blogs here to answer a few questions seen LinkedIn. And I think it's I want to kind of do these live. It's quicker to do. And people aren't going to say too long didn't read because it's quicker to do these little videos. So one of the things I want to that's come up over the past, I've seen on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago, and it actually goes back to 2004. I'm not going to say the year, okay, because then you can pinpoint the conference. So a number of years ago, well, back even before that. So back in the mid 2000s, when I was doing sales for translation services and translation solutions, we'd often get RFPs. Well, actually, I worked in telecom before that, so we had RFPs as well, and so I had it even done it back then. So responses relies for proposals, which means you got to give your bid in a tender. Okay, that's for a certain request that's come in. So you got to give a standardized kind of response back to. There's usually a form, and you got to answer a bunch of questions and all that for usually about services. Okay. Yeah, actually, in the telecom industry and other industries, hey, and it's even for the solutions. So it's kind of it's really well done. And so you have RFIs, you have RFPs, and RFQs. Okay, so you can have them for information, for proposals, and for quotes. All right. Um, and other companies would call it like the bid center and stuff. Okay, bids. Okay, tenders, whatever. So I'm not going to say the year, okay? So after that, and I had been involved in a few RFPs for kind of solutions and stuff, and each time was like a different one. It was just a different one all the time. And the terminology, the kind of the vocabulary was using it to kind of describe things was different each time. Like for the translation industry, there's a lot of changes in the word training. What does training mean? Before back in the rule-based days, training meant you train people to create dictionaries, okay? And then when you go to the statistical machine translation era, between 2009-ish and 2012-ish, and the kind of outside, training started meaning training the system to actually be built to recognize different monolingual and multilingual corpora on big data. So the word training had made a difference, but that wasn't always clear in the RFP. Okay, what training meant, and I had to call that out a couple of times, saying, "What do you mean by this? What do you specifically mean by training?" And there are other examples of this. Okay, I don't want to get into all the details here. So as time went on, I saw that there was a real lack. Now, in the services industry, I'll say in the language industry, service industry. Sorry for the background noise. I'm at the restaurants. We're going to get a little background noise here. Language services industry, we've got, or the kind of the industry, the services side. You've got pretty much. It's pretty clear what the expectations are. Okay. When you do an RFP, or really a lot of these bids are even at the small level, even a little 5,000 word thing. It's pretty clear what the needs are. You got to know what you got. This. Okay. And what I said, and I actually made a proposal to a conference. I'm not going to say what conference, and I'm not going to say what year. Okay, because I don't want to shame anybody. Okay, but I do want to call this out. I actually made a proposal that in the translation tools and solutions area, we need to have, just like in the services area, you've got a kind of a standard RFP kind of thing to do. It's usually pretty close, because all the things that are known they're pretty well known, and what people choose to use, it's pretty clear. But the whole solution side of the software solution side, it's just every time is different. So I said, what we need to do is we need to have a standardized approach, or a more standardized approach, to having RFPs for authoring and translation solutions. Okay, and you know what? And it was in the user track thing, and it got rejected. And it got rejected because the people said there's no need for this. And I was just laughing. I just kind of laughed. I couldn't believe that this thing got actually rejected. But then when I looked at kind of the people that were rejecting it, their experience in sales and in real trench stuff, well, it kind of made me wonder if they had experience in actually dealing with this kind of stuff or not. So kind of got rejected. But then you guess what? Several years later, I'm not going to say the years again, but this year in 2021 now, years later, I'm seeing posts on LinkedIn saying, hey, why don't we have better RFPs for solutions? Duh. Well, duh. I mean, duh, duh, duh. Um, so, so I already said this before. And all those people in the review could be said it wasn't relevant. But we got people on LinkedIn saying, hey, we need this kind of stuff. So, again, I'm going to ask us in the industry here, do you need, okay, this is on LinkedIn, do you feel there's a need to have more standardized? I'm not talking about totally standardized and perfect by some standard authorization, some standards committee and stuff. It doesn't have to be all the ISO stuff. I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying, do we need to have more standardized stuff, more standardized kind of definitions, the terms that we use and the definition we use for these the solutions, so we know pretty clear what training means. It's clear that what the training type of training is used, or what kind of type of system it is. When you see machine translation, well, which kind of machine translation? Because there are like 7 types of them, 7 different approaches. So that's kind of which one are we talking about here, folks? Or what do we mean by rapid post editing, or minimal post editing, or kind of average post editing, or full quality post editing, or repost editing, or whatever? Okay, what do we mean by it? What's the definition? That's just like, I think that example in itself just right now is the one. And I have different definitions. I mean, I've got definitions, and I kind of am flexible with those. But I always make clear that when I'm writing an article or something, I'm always clear about what do I mean by it. Very clear. To the extent, I don't want to get all the details, but I kind of just want to define it. A lot of the stuff is not defined. They just say post editing, or they just say MT solution. Well, no, this is wrong. I mean, you can't say this. It's like saying, it's like going and saying, I want to buy a car. Well, when you go and talk to a salesman, going to buy a car, what's the first question ask you? What's your budget? And what kind of model, what brand and model do you want? They don't say, well, do you want a car? Okay? So, like, we in this language industry folks, solutions folks, you're going to kind of have to just kind of step back and think about life in general and what you buy when you buy a bicycle or a camera or a car or a computer or a house or whatever. What do you do when you do that? Well, you answer a few questions with the salesperson in front of you. The more expensive stuff, you actually got a salesperson in front of you, okay? Or like furniture, what do you want? Do you want solid wood or you want IKEA stuff? I mean, come on. This is kind of take the things from everyday life and bring it back to your own industry. And, we talk about TMX and TBX and standardization, all that kind of stuff. And we don't even have this on the RFP side for the sales folks. And sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes some companies hire sales folks. Some translation providers hire sales folks there's some translation providers that hire only sales folks that have experience in the translation service industry. Okay, and then you got others that hire people that don't have that experience, but they get other experiences, but they got to learn the vocabulary and all that kind of stuff and the jargon from the in the translation services industry or the language industry, or what do you want to call this thing. And I'm not critiquing either one. I think both have great approaches. I think both have their appropriate approaches and reason for doing it. But when you're doing RFPs and you're responding to RFPs and you want to make sure that you're competing against others on the same baseline of same meaning, same topics, same things, kind of needs to be defined in some of these RFPs and not be vague, okay? So I just kind of wrap this thing up. It's come up in 10 minutes now. And what do you folks think? Do you think we need to have this? I think we do, at least a minimum. Okay, I'm not saying it has to be full blown, but at least kind of get it moving along the way so we have for all these different solutions. And it can be on the authoring side, it can be on the translation side. And it can apply to natural generated authoring or content or computer assisted translation, computer assisted authoring, whatever, even speech to text kind of stuff and text to speech stuff too, whatever. It can all apply. So let me know what you think about it. Does this make sense? Or tell me that I'm completely off track. Okay. Thanks so much. Thanks for the feedback, and reach out to me.